Right, let me just pull this. I've got every ice cube going. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the workshop of Help and Learn to Heal Yourself. All ready? Yes. Yay! Welcome. I was just seeing if you were really here or not, physical or non-physical. So what we'd like to do today is to use what we call our spiritual connections, our spiritual gifts, to help us heal ourselves. Why is that important? Because we go through life on a significant part of our journey being in pain. Why do we choose that? Because, we've learned to live with pain, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and financially. We seem to like pain. It's a bit like getting electrocuted, because when you have that going through you, so they say, you contract and grip things as you contract so tightly you can't let them go. It's very different to things like a tattoo, where the thrill of the pain is worth going through to get the end result. But the way that we're brought up is that the way society has taken us is to condition ourselves that being in pain is good and being free of pain is bad. You'll often hear these sayings if you've been through a relationship or you've had relationship difficulties or challenges. You've got to keep at it, you've got to work through it, keep going, no matter what. But there comes a point sometimes where it's not working for you or it's not serving you. Can anybody relate to that? Yeah, and it feels like it's hard work. It's hard work because you're trying to force issues. You're trying to tell yourself it's okay to do the things that don't feel right to you. You're going against your own innate inner guidance, and it doesn't make any sense. That's why it's difficult. And quite often we get sick, and that's why those words, dis-ease and discomfort, are so important. Because that's letting you know what isn't working. And just in case you ain't getting it, your emotional feedback are your emotions letting you know where in your body you're being affected. Now, we know from other workshops where we talk about chakras and things like that, we can relate them to, your zest or your relationships or love in a heart and things like this. So they are your indicators. But what is really important to understand is that most of us, no matter where we are, don't want pain. Is that true? Yes or no? Yes. Did anybody hear a no there? I didn't hear a no. So that's great. So we don't want to be in pain. But you cannot get pleasure when you're being with pain. You cannot get there from there. Why is that? Well, because the way that life works and the conditioning does this. We look for reference points in life to know what's okay. We look at a relationship and we go, look at them, they're the model couple, aren't they? We don't know what's going on behind closed doors, but on the outside they look good. We then say, I want that. That to me is successful. Because all my conditioning says when you look at that, that's it. That's what you need. Or you need the money, the cars, the watch, the houses, the so on and so forth. But we know there's many pop stars with all the wealth that you could want and more on top that are very unhappy people. Yes or no? Yes. So the question is, what do I need? What do I need? And the answer is peace. Because when you have peace, you can have the awareness of how you feel. You can have that impartial middle ground of being able to stand and say dispassionately, this feels great for me, or this feels less great for me. And you have that space within you where you can go, I don't feel like I want to do that. But equally at the same time, you're able to say to yourself, what is it that I do feel I need? And then you're able to have that opportunity to decide what you want to do because you're not being rushed or hurried or anything like that. Does that make sense? That's wonderful. And later on today, we're going to do a few exercises. We're going to do a little bit of healing. And right at the end, we're going to do one special session where somebody gets a real pizzazz of this whole thing brought back into one. The question is though, has anybody had this pain recently in their life? Whatever you want to call pain, your circumstances of your life. The answer, so you don't have to say anything yourselves, is probably yes, to some greater or lesser extent. And I'm truly, truly sorry that that is the case. But here's how we can help you today. You see, to get peace, because when we've had the pain and we get used to it, we calibrate to pain. And that's what I mean with that electrocuting thing. You almost don't want to leave what's familiar that's comfortable for you, even if it is detrimental to your well-being. Well, clearly you're all sick individuals, aren't you? And I need to put my hand up and be honest and say, it's happened once or twice, that's for sure, myself. So how do we do that? To get to where you've never been before, you've got to do something that you've never done before, which means you need to be disrupted. I learnt this long ago. I was watching something and they said, it's all to do with metacognition. That's a big, long, complicated techno thing on a Sunday afternoon, isn't it? I'm going to explain what it is a little bit later. But because we're so pre-wired to almost auto-react to situations that we've allowed life and ourselves to create for ourselves and to program an auto-response to, we almost have that flight, fright and freeze situation where our bodies will react to circumstances before we get a chance to intervene and help decide. A bit like an anxiety attack. Somebody can't stop that. It's very difficult. You're into that and it gets worse and worse and worse and worse. This momentum builds that can't be stopped. It would be like jumping off of a tall building. Nobody can really catch you when you're travelling 120 miles an hour down towards somebody on the ground and you weigh 17 stone. That's a hell of an impact. It's not going to end well, is it? We know that. But that's effectively what we go through, you see. So, like I say, you have to also have a focus of where you need to be. Even if your focus is that I don't want to have this pain anymore. I realise that I need to do something different. So two things happen. You either disrupt yourself to cause the change because your desire is for the well-being and the peace, or life makes a move on you. Have you experienced both of those? I'm sure the majority of you probably have. Because there's also this thing where people want to control life and control us. And I said earlier on today in a workshop, there's this really annoying thing when we want to get life as we want it, and that involves people. They've got this really annoying habit of knowing what's best for them, not what I want for them to be. You see, you're not in control of anything, and we have to roll with it to some extent. But the point of this is how we feel about it, because we can either get stuck or we can keep moving. Now, if we keep moving, it's uncertain for us. And this uncertainty is interesting because we learn something new. I did this experiment. It's a simple experiment because our brains tell us what habit is if we don't auto-react to situations in a certain way. So, for example, if somebody pushes you, we'd normally talk to push them back, right? Well, it's not going to end well, is it? We know that. That's going to end up in some sort of altercation to a lesser or greater extent. But what we do understand is that we can disrupt that by doing something different. So when something happens for us or to us, they're two different things. For us or to us, we can choose whether we respond or whether we react. The saying goes, it's the space between the notes that make the music. If you didn't have the space, you wouldn't be able to hear the melody. It would be continuous noise. So you don't want to tie yourselves up with continual thinking about whatever it is, this, that, or the other. And the reason that that's important is because it's okay to understand that thoughts come to you, ideas, impulses about every experience that you're going through. And actually, I would encourage you to stop saying what I'm going through, and I would encourage you to say what I'm growing through. because it brings that opportunity of a disruption. Even today, coming to this workshop particularly, it will awaken something in you. That is my intention, where you will have an inner alarm that goes off and you'll go, actually, this is one of those moments where I'm going to choose to do something differently because I don't want that. Or something might feel for you that it has the potential to go that way that doesn't feel good for me. That's where you start to awaken and use all your senses, spiritual, psychic, or whichever way round you want to do it, to feel your way through the experiences of this thing we call living, that once we return non-physically back to spirit, or whatever you want to call that great consciousness, home. So I did this thing, a simple exercise where I thought that was all baloney, right? I thought, BS, somebody has sold me a pup. And what I did this one day was I decided not to brush my teeth with the other hand. I know, where's he going? We've gone from healing to Ian's brushing his teeth. Well, why is that important? I didn't think shaving was the best way to start this exercise. So I decided brushing my teeth was a safe bet. So I brushed my teeth with my left hand. That was a bit weird, you know. Skin went off of my gums, it was sore. But after about a week, I learned to brush my teeth with my left hand. Now, I'm right-handed. The bizarre thing was, after about 30 years of brushing with my right hand at that time, when I swapped back, I physically couldn't brush my teeth with my natural hand. And I then realised I could adapt to any situation. If I allowed myself to be disrupted with the experiences that come, and I give myself the opportunity to see how I feel about them, even though they feel very strange at first. Yeah. Because we often hear these things, don't we? Things are bad for me, nothing can help me, you can't help me. No, I can't be helped. It's all too much, I feel overwhelmed. But you can choose to feel overwhelmed or not. There's a lovely saying that says, every time you can't give yourself something that you need, you're at the mercy of somebody else. And that goes into another saying that says, because you've accepted some things as normal and adjusted your way of living to accommodate something that was never meant to be. You believe everything that people tell you. I hate to break it to you, but you lie to yourselves and you do it regularly. I've used the analogy once or twice over the weekend. If I've been on a diet in my time, that has happened. I know that's hard to believe, but it has happened. And I walk past the bakery, my little penchant for my time of life is a Belgian bun. I tell myself it's okay to have one. I call it a cheat day, and it's all right. It isn't at weigh-in. It really isn't, and it hasn't served me well. So I can't trust myself when it comes to Belgian buns. I've learned that. But we can't trust ourselves when we say to somebody, what do you think I should do? How the blue blazes do they know? Because, like I said, when people have this funny own idea of knowing what's best for them, not what you want them to do, and when they don't do what you want them to do, it's a problem. Well, that's going to create issues for you. So you have to move through that. That's why you grow through experiences. You don't go through experiences. Whatever resistance you have to a situation, the situation is happening. You can't say that isn't happening. It is in fact happening. So you can either have pleasure or pain from each experience that finds its way to you or you find yourself in. Does that kind of make some sense? I didn't lose any of you at the Belgian buns, did I? You know, it's a really powerful image, and it certainly is for me. So it's essential that we understand what we feel we need at any one moment in time, no matter what or where we are. Whether you've been married to somebody for 10 years, 10 months, whether you're happy in your work or you tell yourself that you are, but then you find yourself always singing to yourself, is it 5:30 on Friday yet? Or even worse, is it Friday yet? You're going to laugh at that point, by the way, you're all rubbish. But it's true, because these are little signs that we tell ourselves where we say, I'm not happy, but we don't listen. In other words, I know I need to change this because this isn't serving me where I am right now, because I don't feel good or I feel less good, but I certainly don't feel like I want to go, woohoo. Now, It's true. The closer you're with something, particularly with things like relationships, the more constantly we're finding our way through. It's a bit like walking in the dark, isn't it? You know, you have to kind of feel your way through, and sometimes there are a couple of ouchy moments where we bump into things, but that's okay to you, because it says to you that this is where you don't need to be right now, or to take more care. And feeling our way is a really good analogy, because that's what we've got to guide us. It's like one of those little ants or something with the antennae, isn't it? That's the radar, like the sonar radar with the dolphins, that let us know where we're going. I call them our emotional parking sensors. Yeah. So the reason this is important is because we are all energy. So we literally do feel everything. Everything resonates with us. And in a little while, we're going to do a couple of experiments where we're going to use thoughts and emotions to show you how this affects you when you physically are either holding it, or your emotional responses or reactions to that, and how and why words are so powerful. So that you can be more aware that your presence and being with every breath and step you take resonates with your well-being and the well-being you bring for others. Because the more that you spend giving to others and looking into what you consider is best for everybody else, you're giving of yourself and out and losing your power. When they say giving your power away, they say you're literally buying that experience. It's very, very true. So let me just show you how that works when we talk about wasting yourselves. So I need a volunteer to do a very simple exercise. Who would like to come up the front and join me on camera and do this? So we've got Jim. Actually, I think that was well volunteered because you put your hand up. You haven't actually got to say anything, do anything. You know you want to. You don't want to. Don't be like that. He's coming. Let's give him a big round of applause. Excellent. And I've forgotten his name now, Sherry.
T.
T. Come on, T. This is T, everyone. Everyone meet T. T, everyone. Hey. Right, so I'm going to just pop you slightly on the side like this. Now we're going to do a little applied kinesiology example. And Jim, may I trouble you just to move over there, sir, just 1 second, and we'll work with Jim in a moment. Now, what I'm going to get you to do is it's a little applied kinesiology test where it's called muscle testing, but this is all about your energy. Okay, so I'm just going to get you in a moment. So life generally is okay for you right now. Would that be a fair statement? Yeah, it's bobbing along as it does. You know, nothing like that, nothing like that. Is that fair to say? Yeah. So just as you allow your life to come into your mind, would you just pop your left arm up for me, like that? Now, I'm not going to try and jump on your arm, but I just want you to resist me pushing down, okay? As you hold in your life. Yeah? See, can you see how that's working? And I'm pushing. Okay. All right, now just relax your arm for me. Okay, please drop that down to your side. Okay. Back again, please. And resist me. Didn't do very well, did he? Bless him. And resist me. So I literally took your power away. That's what that was. I took it out of you. And I brought it back. We did nothing to change the circumstances that were going on for you, but I took it away. I'm not going to share with you how I did that. I just want to show to you, wow, that's a bit weird, isn't it? But can you imagine when you're walking along in life and you go, look at that bulldog get up there on camera talking to us about how to heal our lives. Who does he think he is? The disease and the discomfort. You make yourself vulnerable. You open the door and you say, bring on the pain. Come on, I want some, I love it. But you don't realise you're doing it. Who do they think they are? Her skirt. Look, who does she think? Yeah. Look at her all poking her bits about and wobbling around. You know, girls can be bad for that, right? It's fair to say. Maybe worse than blokes. I don't know. But there it is. So we have to be very aware. Now, there's a lot of talk in these events when we talk about protection and things like that. But don't close yourself down to open yourself up. Sounds a bit weird, doesn't it? Don't close yourself down to open yourself up, because you will limit yourself. You will literally build yourself in and protect yourself so much that you won't be open to the opportunities that come to you. You'll ignore the advice that comes when in the middle of the night you wake up at 3 in the morning and you go, I've got to apply for that job. You wake up in the morning and then you don't. And then you start to say, oh, do you know what, I think I'm happy where I am. Oh, it's a bit of a hassle, isn't it? I've got to sit down, I've got to do the computer. You start to build this narrative, don't you? But you know it's not what you want to do deep inside. T, thank you. Please take a seat. Jim, I'm going to come to you right now, if that's all right. Would you like to try?
Yeah.
That's fantastic. Are you okay with your arms and things?
Yeah,
okay. So again, with you, just so you can experience it, I just want you to answer me this question. Life generally okay for you in the main?
Yes.
Excellent. Nothing up here, nothing down there?
No.
Excellent.
At the moment, it's all right. Yeah.
Apart from right now, right? I love him really. I've known him a long time.
We'll see, won't we?
So what I'd like you to do is just to pop your arm up for me, okay, and just allow your life as it is right now just to come through you and into your mind. Just nod for me when you kind of see it, yeah, and just allow me and nod for me when you feel it,
Yeah.
okay. And now I'm just going to push, so just resist me. That's some nice strength there for Jim. Okay, right, now just pop your arm for me. Pop your arm up and resist me. That's 2 fingers this time.
Yep. Done it.
Uh-oh! Okay.
Right.
Now come back and just put your arm up for me. Same thing again and test. So you can see he's stronger again. Jim, thank you very much. Big round of applause for Jim and for T. Thank you. Bit weird that, isn't it? But do you understand that feeling when we're made to feel sick to our stomachs? Well, that's what we tell ourselves, but it's a lie. You're lying to yourselves. Because you see, there is a response for every reaction within us. There's something innate within us all where we know what not to do. If the stove is on, we don't need somebody to tell us not to put our hand on it, right? Or worse, sit on it. Ouch. That would be ha 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 ha, and then you have to go through healing. But whatever pain you invite for yourselves, and I hate to break it to you, but you do, whatever pain you bring or invite or walk in for your lives, you will enjoy the experience of it until you choose that that's not for you and you do something that disrupts that, where you know and accept that this doesn't feel right for me, I've got to make a change. The tricks come in where we say, what is it that I need? And that's where we need that space between the notes to be able to make our music. Because we have to use our own inner guidance about what we feel is going to serve us for what we need next. Now that's relative to every situation that you're going through. If it's a work situation where for whatever reason your boss isn't working well with you and you're not working well with your boss, it's time for you to change. If your boss doesn't care what you think, then if you don't do anything, you will suffer and he or she won't care. Because from their point of view, there's no problem. But if you feel the need to change, then you need to do something about it, or you will stay with the pain. It's a fairly simple concept, isn't it? But can you now understand how sick you can make yourselves just from that simple exercise? That maybe you haven't up until now. And what you don't change, that you know isn't serving you, can lead you into this pain. And here's a little thing. Now, we're probably all old enough and experienced enough where we've had a relationship or two in our lifetimes, right? Some of you that have been to my workshops today will have heard this before. And let's use the example of we've all been in a relationship where the upshot of it is that relationship has ended. It doesn't matter whether it's a work one, a boss, or a loving one. So now I'm just going to invite you all just to close your eyes for me. And not a relationship that would have caused you pain, but one that would have jangled you, shaken you up a little bit, where you didn't feel so good or it didn't end so well for you, just to allow it to come back into your mind. And all just nod for me when you can see that, just so I can understand where you're at. So it comes in pretty quick, doesn't it? Okay, and nod again when you can feel it. There we go, very, very quickly. And now, just identify the one thing that stood out for you the most, that triggered you, jangled you, or whatever? That really gave you the needle with that person, place, situational thing. And just nod for me when you got that. Okay. Now I'm going to count down from 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I'm inviting you now to open your eyes and just come back into the room, allow your gaze to settle. How many of you suddenly had this rush of all the things that you could identify that person really peed you off about? Would anybody be willing to share their hands and pop them up for me so I can see that? Nobody over there wants to be honest, right? But do you all understand what I mean? When you feel the one thing that grates you, you then can suddenly recall all the things that were just as bad or that hacked you off, and that comes in an instant like that. You get that? Okay. Here's a little thing. Are you familiar with quantum jumping? No. Would you like to be? The answer is yes, by the way. See what I did there? So quantum jumping is quantum physics. Heavy for a Sunday afternoon, I know, but you'll love this. Because you see, when I talk about you being addicted to pain, I'm going to show you some tools energetically that can help you go from pain to that peaceful place. So when you know that things that you pick up jangle you or move you in some way that doesn't feel so good for you, that you don't have to stay there and try and figure it out. There would be no point leaning on that hot stove there and then somebody else comes into the room and says, "Can you smell burning?" "Yeah, I think I can." "Yeah, actually it's my flesh melting on my hand because I'm leaning on the cooker." And the other person says to you, "Do you think that's a good idea?" And you go, "No, not really." But there you stay. That's what we're talking about. So quantum jumping. Bert Goldman was a big pioneer in this and also did quantum leaping. Some of you on the TV scene may have seen the program Quantum Leap. There was a character called Sam, and he went from situation to situation, and he literally moved his physical self through into different periods of time, sometimes as a man or a woman or a donkey or whatever. Very, very interesting. But quantum jumping is a little different and a little more practical, because anybody want to be a donkey right now? No? Okay, fine. Then we will move swiftly on. But as you're already getting it, the addiction to pain is no different from a choice to be with peace or pleasure or returning to love. Because what we did there was we took you back, and very, very quickly you could see something and then you could feel it. Now you walked into this room not so long ago, those thoughts may have been long gone for you, but they came back very, very quickly, didn't they? That's scary. If they were 20 years ago and they came back that quickly, two things. That's scary, and maybe there's some little bits of work that you need to do to still heal that for you. If it still triggers you and jangles you in some way. Maybe your work from that experience isn't done. And maybe, just maybe, these are reasons why things are not working out to some extent in your lives right now. And here's a little experience that's helpful. So I'm going to invite you all again, because you've got to do some work, right? This isn't a free rodeo. To close your eyes once more for me. And we're going to quantum jump. Oh, yes. Okay, if you hear any rattling, please don't be alarmed. It's me just stealing your keys and wallets and house deeds. Okay, so just relax. Just take a couple of breaths in and out for me. Just nod for me when you feel your energies change, feeling more settled, just so I can see where you're all at. Feeling peaceful. Where your energies have changed. That's great. Now, I want you to bring back into your minds an experience where you fell out with somebody, but you know in your heart of hearts that you had a hand in that. And you know you didn't behave as your best self. 50-50, let's say. Just nod for me when that experience comes back into your mind for me, and you can see it. Okay, that's great. And now just nod for me when you can feel that. And you have that awareness in your body of what that's triggering for you. Okay, that's great. Now I want you to see that situation just replaying for you. from the start. And you just see it all flashing through. You can see what you did, you said, in those moments where you go, oh, wish I hadn't have said that. Or that you can now see that you weren't your best. Just nod for me when you can see that playing out. That's great for me. And just nod for me if you can jump forward and visualize the end of that, which was where you know that experience stopped for you. Okay, that's great. Got a few nods going around. Okay. Now I want you to imagine that you're in a room. And as you look across, you see a wall with a door in it. And you decide to walk up to the door, open the door, walk through into the next room and close the door behind you. And you realise that experience that you've just recalled back from whenever that happened is playing for you on a big cinema screen in front of you. And you have a remote control button with pause and play on it. And you're holding this in your hand, this remote control. And as you're watching this situation play out again for you right now, when you get to the bit that you know you weren't your best at, and you know you might have said something less kind, unkind, or hurtful, push this imaginary pause button. And as you pause it, say or change what you did into what you know you wanted to do but chose not to do. And push play. Now just nod for me if you feel that the different way that you responded is feeling better as this situation goes forward. In other words, it has changed. Now we're going to fast forward to you imagining that if at every time you said something that was hurtful or not helpful or whatever, you made a better decision. I want you to visualize how that would have ended. And just nod for me, if you would, if you did those things, that the result would have been more positive or better than it was when it ended. If you had your time again, you would do it differently. And can you see that you would have got the result that you really wanted or intended at the start of the conversation, but you didn't enjoy at the time that it happened? Just nod for me if that makes sense. That's great. And do you now feel better about that situation, having it replayed with this ending now than you did previously? Just nod if it's a yes, would you? So I can see. Okay. I'm just going to invite you all to open your eyes, allow your gaze to settle, come back into the room. It's quite powerful, isn't it? Because we're experiencing the disruption of choosing a different response to a situation that's already happened, done and written. But the point is when we have those emotional experiences that we had earlier on with T and with Jim, and we're aware of it, and we learn as we grow, not as we go. Little test for you. What does practice make? No, it makes progress. I always say living is what we're experiencing. Life is what they write. Once we return to the non-physical, we're over, we're done, we're croaked. Whatever you want to call that. Might sound harsh, but there it is. So we can understand that we have these feelings that can hurt us, that in some way, shape or form we do choose and allow to be with us until we choose not to have those anymore. But understanding that when we do have a choice, we can even change what has happened that caused us pain and find peace with it. Because when you make the peace, you have the space to be able to move forward. You cut the cords, the ties and the attachment to what was, and we are living with the now, the what is. not carrying the baggage of the past, able to do new things, in some way revitalised, reinvigorated, refreshed and re-energised, to know that we don't have to put up or it will probably work out like this or that. And start to ask the questions, what do I need? What do I desire? What do I want? But want in the sense of the things that serve us right now. Does that make sense? We want to find a better way. We don't want to use our senses, our emotional parking sensors, just to use as a tool for warning, because we would always be in a space where we felt vulnerable and weren't able to be our fullest selves. Does that make sense? We want to be open and feel it, but it takes faith, courage and trust. We've got to believe in ourselves. Sometimes, though, when we disrupt the way that we have been, we can't believe in ourselves because we find it hard. It's a new experience. We almost don't know what to do. But it's okay to sometimes to allow ourselves to believe in others' belief in ourselves before we start believing in ourselves for ourselves. You need a kickstart, a helping hand. Somebody that gives you that emotional support or whatever it is for you to get going. Just to have that get up and get go to get going. Does that make sense? But sometimes we know that we just have to take a certain course of action to change things, because there isn't the opportunity to have these people around us to walk with us, hold our hands, call it what you will, because you have to believe in yourselves. And as the saying goes, sometimes you just have to do it scared. But it isn't scared, it's vulnerability. And there's such a strength in being vulnerable, because when we're honestly vulnerable, we know we need to take a course of action that moves us from where we are, which is discomfort, into comfort, into happiness, and into that peace. Because we don't want to be where we are right now. We don't like it. So we naturally start to look for what helps us to feel better. That situation we just did had the discomfort. We changed it, and it brought you either more ease, maybe closure. I don't know what was going on for you. Some of you, it might have been healing. But it certainly was better than it was. You changed reality. You bent reality. It doesn't have to be this way or that way. And you really can be the architects of your lives. You can create the life that you want. Some folks use this word manifesting that gets bandied around an awful lot. I call it alignment. Because if you're moving with what you know is serving you and you feel good about it, like that example that we used when we had the thoughts about, hey, this doesn't feel so good, and that person niggled me for that. And they also left their feet on the table, never cleared up after themselves, never took the cup to the kitchen. You're off, you're gone, aren't you? It's like, come back, because you've gone too far. So you take 10 steps backwards before you take 1 step forwards. Not 2 steps forwards, 1 step backwards. If only life could be that progressive. So how does this work? Well, we're going to do a little exercise now to bring in these healing tools, because although you may not think this is healing, it really is, and we're going to bring in these exercises, which means I need another victim. I need another willing volunteer to come up here and just experience some applied kinesiology with me, which is, please do, my darling. What's your name? Janet. Let's give Janet a round of applause. Please come down, Janet. So we showed you earlier on with T and Jim, when that sounds actually like you're having a snack or something, doesn't it? T and Jim. Oh yes, please. We showed you how, if you leave yourself to yourself, and somebody influences you, that you can lose your power. You give yourself away and you become weak for it. You all saw that. That happened. Can't make that up. Big strong man like T, he had big forearms there. I can't suddenly do magic on him to make him be weak when nothing around him has changed, unless he gives himself away and allows me to do that. But now what we're going to do is we're going to do a little bit of magic with you. I've forgotten your name now, sorry. Janet, beg your pardon. Janet. And what I'm going to do is this applied kinesiology test again on you, but in a different way. And we're also going to work with this on an emotional level for you. Okay. So I'm not really interested in this Janet that's in front of me now. No, this is a fake. Marriage is off, right? This Janet Janet is inside of this shell suit I'm looking at, right? We know her soul, who she really is inside there. Lovely little saying. It was a Wayne Dyer quote. Your body is the garage where you park your soul. Isn't that nice? Because you see, whatever you see or you think that you're seeing may not be what you're feeling. If you look for what you think you want, and then you go and get it, I think I want a Ferrari. When I get the repayments, I know I feel that's not such a good place to be, right? Ferraris cost a lot of money. So it wasn't a good choice to make. But how many times have we done that and had to backpedal? I know the answer's a few from most of you. That's how we learn. But how does this work emotionally? We're about to find out. Courtesy of Janet. I'm sorry?
Am I going to cry?
No, darling.
Okay.
We're getting rid of the pain, not giving you the pain.
Okay.
Ouch. I'm not that scary, am I? So we're going to do the first test again with you.
Right.
Okay? And we're just going to say, so just allow it to come into your mind, everything about your life right now. Is your life on a relatively even keel? Life's bobbing along?
It's getting there.
Okay, that's good.
Right.
So just pop your arm out for me.
Okay.
Right? And I just want you to resist me pushing down.
Okay.
Okay? So you're quite strong there.
Yeah.
Okay, that's great. Feel all right?
Yeah. Shall I put it down?
Yeah, you can put it down now.
Okay.
So now I want you to pop it up for me again. See, she's got to work right. She's really a one-handed bird. Now, I want you to bring back an experience that wasn't so great for you, like when we did that exercise on the tables a moment ago.
Okay.
Close your eyes for me. Just allow that to come back for you. Just nod when you can see it. Okay, just open your eyes for me and resist me. There's one finger. That was a bit rubbish, really, wasn't it? Oh. Now, just bring yourself back to right now. Pop your arm up for me. And resist me. Yeah, look. So I can't do that, and I'm trying really hard. Forgive me,
Yeah.
I'm not trying to hurt you. So can you see, just in that shift of consciousness, how quickly you can go from pain to peace, or pain to love, depending upon where you are and what's going on for you?
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
It's quite powerful, isn't it?
Very.
Nothing changed. Nothing changed. You're as you are with everything else that's going on in you. So you understand your thoughts are powerful. You can't go anywhere for a minute. The thinking you have about your thoughts is where the damage is done. It's the thinking that will kill you every time. So I have a little saying, thinking stinking, only what you feel is real. I use the analogy, I consider myself like a male model with a chiseled six-pack. It was a long time ago. I'd still like to be there, but the reality is that I'm not. But if I choose to feel bad about it or disappointed with what I see back in the mirror, I literally feel myself going, don't I? Have you all done that? Not looking at me in the mirror, obviously, but just feeling yourself not being what you want or see for yourself. It doesn't feel good, does it? But how many of you have realised that you can change that experience within 15 seconds? Because, and Jim's put his hand up, that's great, Jim, that's really good news. Because you can change it as quickly as we've all done with that quantum jumping exercise. We changed something that probably happened for most of you many, many years ago that you're still carrying in some way, that is still causing you some degree of disruption. We can just change what you know you needed to do differently with that to have a better result. So in other words, whatever you're going through that isn't working out for you, it doesn't matter where you are in that. You can make a decision to change. A decision to do nothing is still a decision. So you might as well decide to do something because you've got nothing to lose. But what you can now understand is that you can influence things being better. You can manifest a better experience for you. Let's try this out one more time. So we're going to do what we did on the table, but this time I'm going to be using your arm and your energy on a one-to-one. Are you comfortable with that?
Yeah.
That's great, because I wasn't going to let you go anyway. No, I'm joking. You have free will, of course you do. So I'd like to invite you, if you're happy to, just to close your eyes and just allow that first experience that didn't end well for you to come back. And just nod for me when you see it in your mind. And just nod when you feel it. And pop your arm up for me. I want you to resist me pushing down. Okay? Okay. Just take a deep breath in and out for me. Just allow that to clear. Now I want to invite you to allow yourself to have the experience of something that feels really good for you, that's going on for you. Maybe it's a new relationship, a new car, a new house, it doesn't matter. There's something that gives you that feeling of joy. Just nod for me when you can see that. Nod for me when you can feel that. And put your arm up for me, would you? And resist pushing down. You get that? Thank you very much. Just...
Open my eyes.
Yes, you can open your eyes. And just shake your arms out for me. Just feel better. Now, regardless, you all saw the physical result of that. That's all energy within us. That you can't make up. Would you just be kind enough to share your experiences of what you felt inside your body from the moment of pain to the moment of pleasure? Turn around and face them all. They want to see you. You're lovely. How did it feel inside when you had that painful feeling, the first example that you brought back?
I felt squashed.
Okay. Feel sick at all inside? Anything?
Yeah,
Anywhere?
like it was swirling, kind of.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
If it makes sense for you, it makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay. And when you felt strong, in that second example, what was the experience that was going on in your physical body for you?
What I was thinking or what I was
Feeling that was going on in your body. So you had that swirly feeling the first time.
Yeah.
What was going on the second time?
I kind of felt energised a bit.
Okay.
It's a bit of like a fire building up.
So would you say you were stronger, for example,
Than
the
the
second
first
time,
Yeah.
or stronger the first time?
Stronger the second time.
There we go.
Yeah.
But we proved that with your energy,
Right.
because you were with that those two different experiences, and we could see the reaction. So the point is that literally your cells, the cellular programming you give to yourself, so what people tell you can affect you on a cellular level where you do get disease. Never mind discomfort, you can literally make yourself sick. But doesn't it occur to you that if you make yourself sick, you can make yourself well, aka you can heal yourself? And again, in that example, there wasn't even a minute between the results from both of those.
Amazing.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
It's almost too simple. It's insulting. I'm 52 years old. I'm just getting it, okay? But it's true. I wish I'd have known this stuff many years ago. But you can understand that what you feel doesn't feel good for you. And so when you choose to feel something that does feel good for you, or to make a change that feels better than what you've got right now, you are more well.
Yeah.
So the next time something happens for anyone in this room that doesn't feel so great, or any one of our viewers, you can choose another thought. You can make a better choice for yourself than the one that you've got now. You can move yourself from pain and bring yourself back to love. Love in this instance being you giving yourself and feeding yourself with everything that you need. Does that make sense? That's wonderful. Thank you very much. Let's give her a big round of applause. Thank you. Quick question. How many of you are going to use this in your lives? No trying. You either do or you don't. And I don't mean to be harsh, but you do or you don't. Because, or you have the opportunity of something else to come to you. It's a really useful tool. Okay. Now, we're going to go on and do some real healing. And I need a volunteer. It's going to be a variation of what I've just done, but I'd like to do it with somebody else because it's a different energy. And what we're going to do is we're going to tap into that person literally deep inside to find out what's going on for them that are real issues for them right now. We want to identify the issue. We want to find out the circumstances of when that happened or something like that in terms of time that's relevant. And then we're going to do a little bit of healing, which involves where we started with T and Jim, to take that away, that energy hearing, that energy clearing, to revitalise, reinvigorate, refresh and re-energise them, and recalibrate them back to the equivalent of moving, as we did between two rooms, from the pain to the pleasure. You're going to experience that quantum jumping example and get a healing into the bargain. Would anybody be willing to do that for me? To share that with others? So, Jim, yeah, okay. But for that reason, Jim, I may not choose you. I may not choose you for that very reason. Like really somebody that I don't know as well. So who would be willing to do that? How about you, darling, in that lovely black or brown and white top? It's not going to be in a big detail. It's going to be kind of like high level stuff like home, work. Not comfortable? That's okay. No. That's absolutely fine. That's absolutely fine. I'm just visualising sawing a leg off that chair. No, I'm joking. I'm joking. That's absolutely fine. Is anybody else willing to come and help? Somebody that I don't know, preferably. What about you, my darling? Okay. Yeah? Let's give her a big round of applause. What's your name? Leslie. Let's welcome Leslie up. Come on, Leslie, up you come. Thank you. You look very, very funky. Oh, she's very positive as well now. I'm scared. Okay, they're all thinking, thank goodness it's her, right? You're supposed to say no at that point, by the way. You all suck at that. So what we want to do is find out what's going on for you. Yeah. Because I hate to break it to you, but sometimes, like those experiences that are many years ago that we had when we did the two-room thing and those examples earlier on, you know what, we don't realise there's like laments or you know, entrails still kind of clinging there. It's like we've still got one foot or one toe there, but we're kind of still mostly over here. But we're still wasting energy feeling that experience that's playing out there. So I don't want to talk to, I forgot your name again, I do this all the time. Oh God, shan't I? Do apologise, Leslie. So Leslie, what I want to do now is to talk to little Leslie about what's going on for you that you need some help with, without you telling me anything, without working mediumistically. Most of you know that I did DEM last night, so you know I can work mediumistically. I'm not doing any of that. I want to energetically experience and find out for you what's going on there that we need to help you with right now. For you, for your well-being. That brings in everything that we've discussed. Is that okay? Yeah, no, that's fine. You all happy with that? You get that? Yeah. Excellent stuff. Right, so we're going to use a technique which is called neuro-emotional technique. Neuro-emotional technique and applied kinesiology, the muscle testing, are both chiropractic tools. That's right, the chiropractor and the osteopath and all of that stuff that's going on when we go to get made well. I've been having this for AK for 20 years, neuro-emotional technique probably for about 2 months. But I've got my own spin on how I can introduce that spiritually to help you heal yourselves. And when you experience this and what's going on for you, I'm going to give you a little tool that you can take away and do this with in life. Because you can't suddenly call me up, get me to meet you at your work, particularly if you live in Manchester and I live in Croydon, and I pop into your office and do a quick test like this and wiggle my hands around and sort out your stuff, right? Because the day's probably gone for one, right? So I'll give you a little tool to take away. I call it Mason a case because my surname's Mason, and you can carry me around and call me out whenever you need me. That sound quite good? Sounds quite scary. Some women are there going, oh my days. You'll get there, trust me. So what we're going to do is just come away and stand from the chairs. I don't want you to go base over apex, as my mum says it. So neuro-emotional technique is getting into your being, the true you, who you are, inside of this suit, and find out what's going on for you. And what we're going to do is we're going to identify that on a high level. And as I was saying to you, my darling, so we're going to test like the home, the work, and we're going to drill down to where your energy changes, you become weak, and that's how I'll know that's the thing that I need to work on. And then we're going to try and find out why. Now that might be time, it might be relative to something going on for your life, but it will reveal itself. And it might surprise you, so be aware for that. It's not here to upset you, it's not going to hurt you, it's not going to make you cry. It's just to help you. Sound good?
Yep.
Okay, fine. So, if you just put your arm up for me, allowing your life as it is to come back in now. Life all right on a fairly even keel for you? Yeah, you know, life bubbles along, right? So just want you to resist me pushing down, okay? Oh, she's strong, everyone. She's very, very strong. Okay, you got that? That's fine. Okay, so just shake your arm out for me. So let's find out what's going on for you. We want to find it. We're nosy, aren't we? We want to know what's going on in her life, right? We want to know what are those relationships like and all of that stuff. It's not really that intrusive. But let's have a little bit of a play with you and see what's going on. We won't break you, though, I promise you. You can have your eyes open or whatever you want. So let's talk about home. So every time we do that and I test you, you just resist in the same way.
Right.
Home. Work. You're trying. Love. Arm up.
Yeah.
Love. Work. Home. Money. Relationship. You're trying. Don't try.
No.
Just allow. Relationship. Okay. Resist. Sorry, arm up, I beg your pardon. Work. Home. So you can see the difference, can't you, in what's going on here. So where do we think the area is that we need to help with some healing on right now? Would that be right?
Yeah. Yeah.
There we go. Marvellous, isn't it? See, this is all your dirty linen now comes out. You can't keep me. You remember that thing about the Belgian bun? Yeah, I got that down and I know how to play that. That's what that means. Okay, so let's find out. We need to dig a bit more. We're nosy, right? Arm up, please, if you will. Are you happy to continue?
Yes, yes.
Relationship with you? Oh, that was really bad, wasn't it? Okay. Or your relationships with others? Your relationship with others? Less so. But it's still an issue for you. Would that be right?
Yeah.
So what's going on for you is affecting you personally and how you're interacting and interbeing is what I'd like to say, because there's no interaction. It's interbeing, what's going on with you with other people. So let's just find out what's affecting your relationship is affecting your relationships with others. Arm up for me and resist. So it's all interlinked. So relationships is a big area of your life for you right now. So relationship with you is strongest, or your relationship with others is strongest? They're both pretty much the same in the way that I feel. You okay? Just shake your arm out if you want to. Okay, happy to continue?
Yes, yes.
Okay, that's really wonderful. Because, you know, we can help you. And you'll like the end results. So let's find out, if you pop your arm up for me, relationships with family, loving for you. Okay. There is love for you at the moment? Is that true?
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine. That's all right. We love her, don't we? Put your hands up if you love her. Let's see the love for her in the room right now. There we go. That's how that works. That's all right.
Yeah.
So I want you to think about the love for you that's in this room right now. And put your arm up and resist me. Harder, right? So there we go. Straight away. Straight away. So that's a big issue for you. Let's just find out. Is this recent? Pop your arm up for me. Is this 6 months ago? Pop your arm up. 5 months ago? 4 months ago? 3 months ago? 2 months ago? 1 month ago? 4 months ago? 3 months ago? 4 months ago? Is that right?
Yeah.
I don't know that stuff. I'm not working that way. That's pretty freaky, isn't it? I can't make that up. Wow. So this is how we can help you. So there is no doubt in my mind that whatever else we look at in those big areas of your life, see what you missed out on? You know what I've got to say to you? With love and light, obviously. That's it. You know, spiritual people always do that, don't they? They go, oh, with love and light. It's like having silk boxing gloves, isn't it? It still stings. Right? You've got to watch us with little scamps, honestly. I can promise you that. Would you like me to do some whizzy bang stuff?
Yeah.
That you won't understand what's going on, that will help you recalibrate and get rid of that. So this will be an energy hearing that will be doing blab-de-bab-de-bab. I think I could do with some speech training. That's just the way that it works for me, because I kind of get disrupted as this comes. And so what we're going to do is we're going to move you through these experiences as an energy healing. There will be a shamanic edge to this. Nothing crazy is going to happen. I'm not going to suddenly put on a grass skirt and run around hooping and hollering, shaking maracas. I shall leave my maracas firmly where they are, or at least where they are. Over 50, remember. Okay, we're going to just do this work. Now, at this point, I'm going to invite you in a moment to close your eyes. You won't see what's going on. You will. Seem fair? Yeah, they're happy. Right? Okay. But I'm going to encourage you just to have the awareness of what's going on for you. Because we're going to ask you afterwards what that felt like. Because in the same way with T, when I took his power away, big strong burly chap that he is, you know what, he couldn't explain that. But you can feel yourself weak. He would have been aware of that. So we're going to see how that works up for you. And we're going to retest you to see if it's worked. You've got to put up, right? Or you shut up. That's how that works. So we're going to have an intention because we want to help you with the healing that's required for what's ever going on for you without even knowing the minutiae of what that is. Who did what to whom, who said what to whom, how it hurt you, or why it's even relevant. But the point is there's something here that's leaving you in a place that is not serving you well. Because physically, when the subject comes up, it's not a positive experience for you in your body. And you could probably feel, could you, the difference between the other tests and then when we came to the relationships. Yeah. What felt different for you? Inside.
It was like when what you were asking wasn't the problem, I had the energy.
Yeah.
But when you hit on the problem,
yeah,
the energy had gone.
What did it feel like inside? Did you feel sicky? Did you feel...
No, I just thought... yeah.
But that's not going to help you get through each moment, is it?
No.
So I'm just going to ask you just to step a little bit this way. La, 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 la. Now, this is all going to be a hands-off experience, so you don't have to worry. And I'm literally just going to do my thing, and then we're going to retest you.
Right, okay.
Okay? You guys need to be open-minded with what you're about to witness, because it won't make any sense whatsoever. But then a lot of this time we've had together this afternoon hasn't made a lot of sense so far, because, you know, all of this stuff that's going on, it's a bit weird, right? Yeah. Okay, but you just hold on there. 10 minutes. Thank you, darling, thank you. Right, so, just close your eyes for me. Just know that you're in safe hands, and we love you, and we're doing our thing for you. And I'm just going to start. So just acknowledge and be aware of what's going for you. Okay, when you're ready, just open your eyes and allow your gaze to settle back in the room. Did you experience anything in any of that?
I felt like someone was holding my hand.
Did I hold a hand?
No, you didn't.
Did I keep a distance?
Yes.
It's interesting. What other experiences did you feel or sense?
I could kind of feel energy moving around.
That's good,
Yeah.
right? Whew.
Yeah.
Anything else that's really stands out for you? Was that it?
Feel better?
Okay,
Yeah.
let's find out. Do we believe her? Do we believe her? You do believe her, wow. Do you have faith in me? But it's not me, it's about faith in what happens. And let me just show you this. So just pop your arm out for me. Work. Relationships. Love. Money. Can you see how all of those are stronger? Yeah. Nothing has physically changed in this room other than the clearing and things that we've done with you.
Oh, is that what you were doing?
That's what I was doing.
Sorry.
Moving it all around, taking it away with a little bit of shamanic twist, a bit like a lemon on the side of a drink. Do you feel any different?
Yeah, I do.
So if you were 1 out of 10 before, where are you now?
Oh,
Overall,
about 8. Yeah,
about relationships.
yeah.
Whatever it was, does it feel easier?
Yeah, it does.
Do you feel like you are more free to be more open to relationships than perhaps you were before?
I think I am, yeah.
Maybe a little braver?
Well, yeah, I don't know about that, but I'm more open.
Okay.
Yeah.
You can't go anywhere for a moment. Let's give her a big round of applause though for that. So sometimes we all need a little bit of help to move the energy, but the whole point of everything we talked about up until that point was how we can change our thoughts to change our lives. You've heard that bandied around, I'm sure, many, many, many times. There's books that have been written on it. You've now physically seen it, and you can do this for yourselves. But let's just insult her a few times before we set her free, before we give her a final set of love. They're all thinking, what is he about to do now? He's done all that good work with her, and this silly, so typical man, he's only going to go and blow it, isn't he? But I'd like just to share some words with you that are less than kind. And I just want to show you this experience, and some of which are used in there. And it's just a few. Okay, so if you pop your arm up for me, okay, you're gorgeous. So this is all resisting, yeah? You're gorgeous. You're ugly. Put your arm up for me.
Oh, dear.
You're really ugly. Specky-eyed git. Foxy babe. But you get the picture. So what I say to her, not only does she allow to impact her, but words are helpful or words are hurtful. You get to choose. But not only what it does for you, because you see the resonance of what you say, even when you give it to somebody else as a gift, two things happen. It will always upset you, but it may not reach them if they don't choose to accept the gift that you're giving them. You feel good in yourself. You won't give away that edge that you have of well-being and take that away from yourself. It's like letting the water out of your own paddling pool. Not a good place to be when you want to jump in, is it? Let's give her a big round of applause. Thank you. Excellent. Pretty powerful stuff? A little different, right? But understand, you will never win from anything that isn't for the general collective good. Anything you want to do to others that doesn't serve them, or if you wish them harm or anything else, will kill you just as much as it kills them. Wow, it's really important. Now, very, very quickly, before we finish, I'm going to give you this little tool that I promised you, this little mace in the case to take away. Now, what we're going to do with this is, as I said to you, I can't whiz up to Manchester or Wales or wherever you may be living and do all the flappy arm stuff, right? And particularly if you work for the police or something like that, I can't burst into a police station and start doing all this stuff. They're going to lock me up, right? That's if the people with the white van and that lovely long-sleeved white coat don't do that before. How do we do that? Because like I said to you, when things are going on for us in the moment, what we need to do is to be able to do this for ourselves to help ourselves feel better. I mean, why wouldn't we, right? Now we've got this knowledge, we don't want to not use that opportunity. So I'm going to ask you all to raise your right hand. Okay, look at that. They all did it as well. Blimey, I manifested that. Look at that. Here comes the test. Right, just wiggle your middle finger for me. There we go. So you know which one it is. I want you to place your middle finger over your index finger like that. That's it. You got it. You all got it? Yeah. So it's like that. That's it. You want your middle finger over your index finger. That's it. Okay, I drop my fingers personally because I just like that freedom. So just do that so you get used to the movement. Yeah? You all got that? Couple still working it out. The middle finger needs to be over the index finger. So we start like that. Luckily, we're doing it that way round, right? To that. So you can feel that. Okay, so just relax your arm, but keep your fingers together. Close your eyes for me. Now, I want you to bring back that first experience we did a little while ago that was less than pleasant for you. Just nod for me when you see that in your mind. And when you feel that. Yeah, you got that? And I just want you to push your fingers forward for me. And just feel whether they move easily or it's hard. Don't worry about how much they move, just push them. Just be aware of whether they move a little or a lot. That's all we're trying to achieve. Okay, you got that? They're either spongy or it's hard. So just be aware of that. So that's unpleasantness for you. Now clear your mind, still with your eyes closed, and bring back that happy experience. Maybe it's that red hot lover, or that new car, or that new house, whatever it is. Just nod for me when you see that in your mind. Yeah? Great, and just nod for me when you feel it. Now you've got that, just push your fingers again for me, and just notice a difference, whether it's harder or softer to the first. You all got that? Just nod for me when you got that. That's great. Okay, so just open your eyes, come back in the room, relax your hands. Okay, can I just have a show of hands for the people that had a hard experience the first time when we had the less than pleasant experience? When things were bad, it was hard to move. So you understand now that if you test and things are hard, that's not so good for you. So you now know what isn't good, even if you're trying to think it. So imagine that you've got a situation that you've got to decide on. Most people draw a line down the paper, don't they? Pros and cons. But you kind of lie to yourself about what you write because you weight it accordingly to what you really want. So that doesn't help you. But because of what we've done here today, this will. So you know what feels not so great. Now hands up, people, when things felt good, it was easy. Easy. It went lighter. So we know what was good and what was less good. So every time you go through something in life, you can use this to test yourselves as to whether it's for you or not, as a true response to how this feels for you. So you don't have to think about it because we know what the thinking did. Does that help? Will you use it? I really hope our time together this afternoon has been helpful for you. Thank you very, very much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.